Okay, yes, right there, right there. Yes, but I want you to walk up and walk around and then quietly sit right here. Everybody else, I need you to do this for me. Everyone think of one thing that you're really proud of about yourself, that you're really proud of, that no one can take it away from you. You're really proud of it, okay? And keep that in your brain. Got it? Everyone feeling good? All right, while we're waiting for our volunteer to come up here, I want to tell you a story. My first day in college, I was asked to go to a room where my advisor was meeting me, sit in that chair right there, was meeting me and all the other people he advised, and he looked at us, he walked in and he said this, "Welcome to college. You're all going to be here for about 4 years. You're all going to pay about the same amount of money to be here. And at the end of that 4 years, you're all going to get a diploma that looks just like the person sitting next to you, only it's going to have your name on it." And then he stopped and he said this, "But some of your diplomas are going to be worth more than others." And with that, he got up and he walked out of the room. And I thought to myself, what's my diploma going to be worth? It's going to be worth something really good. And the day I got my diploma, I looked at it and there was my name and it said, Courtney Page, that was my maiden name, has completed the courses required for this degree. It was the most uninspiring piece of paper I had ever gotten in my life. And I couldn't help but think that, what if the requirements were different? The requirements for graduation, the requirements for graduation from high school, or even leaving middle school to go into upper school. What if we were asked more, right? Something more of us. What if you could not leave middle school unless you had created a book of ideas? Wild, wonderful, bodacious ideas. For what point? There is none. I have a cool idea. I think cell phones should have a ring that sound like this. So when you're in class and your phone rings, you can say, "Excuse me, I need to go get some water." I have a friend who thinks that peanut butter should have a top on both sides. So when you're halfway through, you turn it over and open the other side. I have another friend who thinks you should board planes by not the seat you're supposed to sit at, but you say, "Yes, I'm in the talking section, thank you." Or the no talking section. Imagine this. You have a book of ideas and someone comes up to you and says, "Hey, what's going on?" What do we always say? "Not much. Nothing." Right? Instead, you could say, "I'll tell you what's going on. I just had a great idea. What if the ice cream man dropped off dinner, too, so my mom wouldn't be freaking out about getting dinner on the table on time? I could get an ice cream, and she could bring dinner in." Kind of a cool idea. And then you start a conversation. What if you could not graduate from middle school unless you had 100 documented mistakes? I was talking to some of you. A lot of you had to write an essay to get here today. Some others of you, just good behavior, got you on the bus. How many of you got here because you made a lot of mistakes? Raise your hand. One of you. Two of you. Three. Let me tell you something. Mistakes are just as important to who we become as our successes. We always put the spotlight on how brilliant we are, the A that we got, the trophy we got, instead of putting the spotlight on the huge mistake we made. Saturday, I ran into a Chipotle. I was so excited to get a burrito. And I ran in. I didn't notice that it actually wasn't open. And by that, I mean it had not opened for business at all. It was being constructed. And I ran in and I said, "I want a burrito!" And I looked down and I was standing in cement. Freshly laid cement. Mistakes, they happen all the time. That's just part of the day, right? You can't graduate unless you have 100 documented mistakes. What if you can't graduate, you can't get a diploma, you can't leave middle school unless you've created a timeline of all the things that you think you want to do in your life? Do you know what this does? This frees us up from trying to be older than we are, right? It's okay if you don't have a cell phone. It's okay if you don't have a Facebook page. It's okay if you've never seen a rated R movie. It's okay if you've never had a boyfriend or a girlfriend. It's okay if you haven't had your first kiss. It's okay if you've never had any alcohol. And it's okay if you think, I don't know that drugs are going to be for me. That's okay. Right? You got your timeline spread out. There's time for that. I have a 6-year-old daughter who is just crazy about reading. I don't get it. I could barely read Go Dog Go at 6, but she's prolific, and she picked up Harry Potter, and she said, "I want to read this. I love magic. I love reading." She sat down. She read the first book. She read the second book. I'm all proud mother. My daughter's reading Harry Potter. Well, now she won't go into any rooms by herself in her house. And I want to tell you something that I learned as a parent. I learned that you can't go back. She robbed herself of a little bit of being 6. She could have read Harry Potter when she was 12 and really loved it. But she stole a little bit of 6-year-old from herself by being that girl. Because you know what? Paddington Bear, it just doesn't have the same ring after you've seen Harry Potter disappear under a magic cloak. Right? A.A. Milne's Winnie the Pooh just isn't quite as funny after you've read that. So she missed out on the things that were right for her at that time in her rush to become bigger and older. So that's what that timeline would do for you. Imagine this. You can't graduate unless you have a support group that you have created for yourself. Friends, teachers, mentors, parents, godparents, preachers, doctors, whatever it is. Not only their names and contact information, but you actually have to have a relationship with them. It means you have to care about them too. It isn't just them caring about you. How crazy would that be? I'm going to tell you a story. I used to run cross country, and I was running in the ACC national championship, not national, ACC league championship, whatever you call it. And I was in the mile 2, cross country, you run a 3.1 mile race. It's exhausting. It's just brutal. And at 2 miles, I started to doubt myself. And there was this freshman girl hiding behind a tree who was also on the team. And when I went past, she looked at me and she said, "I believe in you, Courtney." And I thought to myself, oh my God, I had stopped believing in myself, but Jamie Sutherland believes in me. Jamie Sutherland believes in me, and I can keep going. I can do this for her. She believes in me. Maybe I should believe in myself. Imagine if you had that support network. Really quickly, look at the person next to you, and I want you to say with every ounce of genuineness in you, I want you to say, "I believe in you." Well, okay, watch this. Watch this. What if you could not move on, and I don't know how to measure this, but what if you were not allowed to be a freshman in high school until you had demonstrated that you had unbridled enthusiasm? And by that, I mean you acted like a black lab, like a dog. Have you ever seen a dog? You walk into the room, and the dog's like, "Oh, you're here? I am so glad you're here. What are we going to do? Do you want to go play ball? What do you want to do? What do you want to do? Want to go do something fun? I'm so glad you're here. This is awesome. You and me, something great is about to happen. I can tell. You're going to feed me? Maybe we'll eat. Maybe we'll just stand here. You can pat me. That would be really fun. I think we can sit right here. We can sit right here. That's cool. And you go away. You're back again. This is really exciting. That unbridled joy. It's joy. And you know what? We're all good at saying, this is broken. This doesn't work. Let me tell you what I think's wrong with the world. I have an opinion. This is the injustice. And I'm just giving the counterweight to what we heard before. There is injustice, but there's also a lot of really great stuff going on, right? Maybe we can express that. Just express that great stuff going on. So maybe one way to put that into practice is you also, in order to graduate, you have to have experienced at least 25 standing ovations in a year that you are part of, right? Can you imagine waking up in the morning and putting a standing ovation in your pocket? You're just looking for something good to happen. Maybe it's going to happen with us. I don't know. Could be kind of cool. Now, remember that thing we did where we thought about what we were proud of? Do you have yours? Don't tell it. Do you have it? Yes. She has it. That's exciting, right? Are you kind of proud of her for having it? All right. What's your name?
Becky.
Becky what?
Arch.
Remember, Becky, there are lots of Beckys in the world. Always say Becky Arch. That way they can know which Becky of all of them, all right? Stand up right here. Now, Becky is about to tell you what she's proud of about herself. And whether you want to believe it or not, that's a very hard thing to do and admit out loud. I'm spitting, but that's good luck in some countries. When Becky shares this with you, what should we do? Should we do this? Should we be like, "That's cool. I mean, she's proud of that. That's great." Maybe we should be like, "Hey, good job, Becky. Woo, woo." Or maybe it could be our opportunity to give a little bit of energy back, okay? Let me see what this little energy, you get excited, right? You're going to explode out of your seat. Are you ready? Tell us what you're proud of, Becky.
I was playing a tennis tournament, and I finished the whole tournament and got second place with a broken wrist.
Woo! Look at him. Don't look down. Look at him. That's yours. Becky and I are going to wrap it up with this. We believe in you. We believe in your ability to live an extraordinary life. All right? Go off and do it. Woo! Thank you, Becky.